Do you want to save your river? The Global Waterkeeper Alliance wants to help you. Hi, I'm Gary Wockner with the Waterkeeper Alliance. The Waterkeeper Alliance is the biggest and fastest growing water protection organization on the planet. We have over 325 local watershed groups around the planet in 44 countries. Our global headquarters is in New York City. I first want to tell you a quick story about the Marañón River in Peru. The Marañón River is the largest river in Peru. It drains the entire eastern slope of the Andes, and it is the biggest tributary to the Amazon River. About 2 years ago, I went on a river trip on the Marañón River. It was the inaugural trip of the Marañón River Waterkeeper. Extraordinary, beautiful river, a wild country, completely in the wilderness. We had a wonderful time, but the Marañón is threatened by multiple proposed dams and diversions, which would dramatically, negatively impact the river, the ecosystem, and the small communities living along it. I wrote a piece for Canoe and Kayak magazine called Don't Dam the Grand Canyon of Peru to try to highlight the threats to the river and try to help protect it. A few months later, the president of the Waterkeeper Alliance, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., went down to Peru and visited with the Minister of the Environment. They had a nice discussion about all the threats to the dams. And then a few days later, the Minister of the Environment announced that there would be a moratorium on all of the large hydroelectric projects on the Marañón River, especially in the lower areas near the Amazon. So that's the kind of attention we want to bring to the threats of rivers and the ways to protect rivers across the planet, and the way we would try to help protect rivers and restore them. Dams are destroying the planet's rivers and environment. They're destroying humans' homes and lives, and they are destroying our global life support system. I'm going to go through a few slides here just talking about the negative impacts of dams. And if you're familiar with these impacts, these will go fairly quickly. This is a picture of the recent major dam problem that happened in Laos and in Cambodia. Villagers got completely flooded out because the dam burst there and caused major flooding. Dams have impacts to people, to the environment, and to our global life support system. To the environment, dams cause extraordinary negative impacts to fish. They endanger fish, kill fish, they trap sediment and nutrients, they choke and stop fish migration. And there's other negative impacts that also go along with that. One of the organizations I run is trying to protect and restore the Colorado River, and we're fighting dams on the Colorado River. As an example of the work that we do with the Waterkeeper Alliance, we just filed a notice of intent to sue to protect an endangered fish on the upper Colorado River. So these are some of the negative impacts that dams cause to fish and to rivers and to the environment. Dams also cause negative impacts to people. They displace people, they flood and kill people, and they have impacts to people's food sources. Dams also increase the risk of disease, especially in tropical countries. Here's a story that was on CNN World. These kinds of issues have gotten broad global media attention about the impacts of dams and reservoirs to people. Dams also impact our global life support system, and this is a story that has gotten increasing attention in the last 5 years. Dams and reservoirs emit greenhouse gases and make climate change worse. The major greenhouse gas that they emit is methane, and there's a long story about that. I've actually written a chapter of a book on this topic, and the book will be out later this year. This issue has gotten broad media attention also across the planet, here in The Guardian and elsewhere. So due to all of these threats, the Waterkeeper Alliance has created a free-flowing rivers policy. And I'll just read it to you. Waterkeeper Alliance supports clean and free-flowing rivers and waterways, including opposing new dams and diversions, mitigating dams where there's no other option, and removing dams wherever possible. This is a picture on the Cache-la-Poudre River of northern Colorado. Another Waterkeeper organization that I run is called the Poudre Waterkeeper. This is a dam right in downtown Fort Collins. It's going to be removed very soon as the city works to restore and rejuvenate the area. So another kind of success that the Waterkeeper Alliance can point to. The Waterkeeper Alliance is fighting dams in multiple countries and in over 30 U.S. states. It is a new program for us, but we're very excited to be supporting our local waterkeeper organizations around the world and around the United States. Our executive director, Mark Yagi, just had a nice story in our summer magazine, Let Our Rivers Run Free, a global look at how dams are destroying our waterways. And so this is a program that we're trying to escalate around the planet, and we're trying to provide support and services to local waterkeeper organizations that are protecting rivers and fighting dams. The Waterkeeper Alliance exists to provide support and services to the local waterkeepers. This is a picture of a bunch of the waterkeepers. We just had a conference in New York this past summer, had a great time. And this is the list of all the support and services that we provide to local waterkeeper organizations. It's a long list, but some of the highlights are that most people are interested in are legal and litigation support, fundraising support, and also communications and media support. Okay, one more short story before I get to the last slide. About a year and a half ago, I went on a river trip on the Karnali River in Nepal. The Karnali River is a beautiful river. It is one of the last free-flowing rivers in the country of Nepal. It's in the far western side of the country. The Karnali drains starts near Mount Kailash, sacred Mount Kailash, goes through the western part of the country and then down into the Ganges in India. We had a wonderful trip. There also was the inaugural trip of the Karnali River Waterkeeper. I also wrote a nice piece about it in Waterkeeper magazine that got posted elsewhere. And then we also tried to raise some global attention about this threat, and we're successful in doing that because about a year later, a number of the larger environmental groups on the planet, the World Wildlife Fund, the Nature Conservancy, etc., incorporated the Karnali River into their Free Flowing Rivers campaign. So we can help support local waterkeeper organizations by bringing attention to your cause. We can maybe ourselves try to help stop a dam or protect a river, but we can also bring attention to the cause and get other environmental organizations interested in trying to help you. So how can we help you save your river? You can go right on our website to waterkeeper.org and read more about the kind of work we do. We are currently recruiting new waterkeeper organizations around the planet. Our goal is to try to have a global river protection movement that protects these sacred and vital waterways across the planet. If you're interested in joining the Waterkeeper Alliance, you can send me an email at gary@garywockner.com, and I will connect you with our recruiting specialists. We had an extraordinary event last summer in Niagara Falls here in New York with over 300 waterkeepers, so you can become a waterkeeper. So we are trying to protect rivers across the planet. We want to help you protect your river in your watershed. Please check out the website and please join us. Thanks for watching.